The Watcher in the Window. It started with a chill. Sarah wrapped herself tighter in her blanket as the cold autumn wind rattled the windows of her old countryside home. She loved the solitude of her retreat, miles away from the chaos of the city. This weekend was meant to be a peaceful break, just her books, and the crackling fireplace. But something felt off. The first time she noticed it was late that evening. She was curled up on the couch, engrossed in a mystery novel, when she felt the unmistakable sensation of being watched. Her eyes darted to the living room window. Beyond the sheer curtains, the forest loomed dark and silent. Shaking her head, she dismissed it as paranoia and went back to her book. But the feeling didn't leave. The second night, Sarah was in the kitchen preparing tea when she saw it. A shadow flickered across the window pane, quick but deliberate. She froze, teacup in hand, her heart hammering in her chest. Taking a deep breath, she walked to the window and peered outside. Nothing, just the swaying trees and the moonlit lawn. Probably just the wind, she muttered to herself, though she wasn't convinced. That night, as she lay in bed, she awoke to a sound. A faint tapping, rhythmic and deliberate, coming from the bedroom window. Her heart seized as she stared at the glass, her vision adjusting to the dark. There, in the faint moonlight, was a face. Pale, gaunt, and expressionless, with eyes that seemed impossibly wide. It was pressed against the glass, watching her. Sarah screamed and scrambled out of bed, fumbling for the lamp. When the light flooded the room, the face was gone. The window, still locked from the inside, bore no sign of disturbance. Shaking, she grabbed her phone to call the police, only to find it dead, despite being fully charged earlier. The next morning, Sarah decided she'd had enough. She packed her belongings, determined to leave. But as she loaded her car, she noticed something that made her blood run cold. In the dirt outside her bedroom window were footprints, bare, human footprints, leading away into the forest. That night, Sarah stayed at a motel in the nearest town. She tried to convince herself it was all her imagination, but she couldn't shake the image of that face. As she drifted into a restless sleep, she heard it again. A faint tapping. Her eyes shot open, and she turned to the motel window. There it was, the same pale face, staring at her with those unblinking, hollow eyes. Only this time, it smiled. The tapping grew louder, more frantic, as the glass began to crack. Sarah tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. The last thing she saw before the glass shattered was the Watcher's grin, impossibly wide, as it climbed inside. By the time the motel manager checked on her the next morning, the room was empty, save for muddy footprints leading to the shattered window and the forest beyond.